Cooper Flagg, he watched that Wings game from the suite inside the arena.
Okay.
Yeah, Mavericks planted their flag, introduced Cooper to the Big D Friday afternoon, gave him his new number 32 Mavericks jersey. At 18, Flagg is the second youngest overall first pick in NBA history. And his generational talent now has some Maverick fans even saying, Luka who? Jason Kidd says he wants to try the rookie out at point guard.
I'm just excited to bring my game to the table and just, bring the energy, both sides of the ball, and just, try and impact winning in a lot of different ways. I think, with the team, looking at the roster, we can play a really good brand of positionless basketball with a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things. So I think that would be one of, the biggest strengths, and I think just trying to play to that and just doing whatever I can to help the team win.
All right, let's welcome in our senior Anscape writer, David Dennis Jr. All right, Double D, what are your expectations for the Mavs this season, especially now that they've got Cooper Flagg?
Well, I'm expecting one of the better defenses in the league and off the bat. And how could you not be? You already have Anthony Davis. You already have PJ Washington and those guys, and you're adding Cooper Flagg, 1.5 blocks, 1.5 steals in college, a tenacious defender, a hardworking defender to that team. That alone makes them competitive in the league. The offensive end, that's where it gets spicy. This talk about Cooper Flagg being a point guard and handling the ball, that unlocks something that is really interesting. It can go one or two ways. It can go very badly, or it can raise their ceiling to another level. I don't think that they're necessarily on the OKC level of competitiveness without Kyrie Irving. But when Irving is back in the season following this one with another year of Cooper Flagg, I think that's when you're really talking about the potential for a championship contender.
Okay. And listen, there's not a lot of drama, especially with the number 1 overall pick in Cooper Flagg, but certainly plenty when you talk about the number 5 pick in Ace Bailey. Now, the Jazz expect Bailey to report to the team today. Of course, leading up to the draft, he did not conduct a single visit, a workout for an NBA team, and declined invitations from Utah, Charlotte, sources tell our ESPN. Bailey's reps also told a team in the top 5 that they did not want the team to select him and that he wouldn't report if they did. So, David, on his podcast Thursday, Warriors forward Draymond Green said that Bailey is, quote, walking into the NBA with a strike, end quote. What do you make of this whole situation?
This is about as disastrous a start to a career that I could think of for an NBA player who has not taken a single dribble on a court yet. You have alienated so many people, and everybody's kind of looking at you crazy. Your own locker room is wondering why you're not trying to show up there. Other players around the league are wondering why you're disrespecting the league by making all of these demands. And the fans of Utah are already looking at you skeptically because of how you are behaving right now and carrying yourself. This is just a disaster possibly waiting to happen for this dude for the way that he is acting in this draft. Now, on the bright side, all is not lost for Ace Bailey. If he shows up, when he finally does show up and plays like a guy who's willing to contribute, like a guy who wants to be Rookie of the Year, like a guy who wants to be there, you can salvage this by just being the best version of yourself once you get to Utah. But like Draymond said, you are already behind the 8 ball with how you're carrying yourself this early in your career.
Here's why he was the top 3 talent in the draft. Bailey was 8th in the Big Ten in scoring, had 25 games in double figures, including 39 against Indiana, which was a Rutgers freshman record.
NBA free agency right around the corner. It starts Monday at 6 Eastern. We might find out some big decisions this weekend. Who knows? LeBron James, James Harden, Julius Randle, they all have to opt into their player option by tomorrow, or they could theoretically sign anywhere. We have some notable free agents, including Miles Turner, Cam Thomas, Malik Beasley, and CP3. Senior Anscape writer David Dennis Jr. is back with us. Lakers looking at this pivotal offseason. We've just seen Austin Reeves this week turn down their offer. Clearly, obviously, they need a center and other things. I mean, what moves would you like to see them make to complement King James and Luka?
Hannah, you nailed it. They need a big. They need somebody for Luka to lob the ball to and really get that offense going. What they missed at the trade deadline, they tried to get that center, couldn't get him, and they were sort of stuck not having that in their offensive repertoire and also somebody to get some rebounds. they absolutely need to figure out how to get bigs in that rotation and help out. It helps Luka, it helps them defensively, and it helps their depth. Speaking of depth here, they're also got to really nail these mid-level exceptions, additions to that bench to make them a little bit deeper. This team just simply ran out of players and ran out of gas towards the end of the season. It's one thing to go full steam ahead from February to April like they did when they got Luka. It's a whole nother thing to do this for an entire season. But most importantly, all these decisions and all these additions are great, but Luka has to be better. He has to be one of the top 3 to 5 players in the league for these Lakers to have a shot to really be competitive this season.
Yeah, second season under Redick. It'll be really interesting to see what kind of shape Luka comes in like. Meanwhile, that is just one of the questions of this offseason. But I know you have identified the 3 biggest questions. Where are you starting, my friend?
I'm starting in Milwaukee, and I'm starting with Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the top 3 players in the league, 32, 12, and 6. He has to be in a competitive situation this season. I don't want to hear anything about a gap year. Milwaukee has to figure out either move him or keep him and build something around him so he can get back to where he was, as maybe getting to a championship level. Other side, in the Eastern Conference, the New York Knicks. When are they going to hire a coach here, everybody? This is taking a lot longer than I thought they were going to do. Are they going to have a coach? Are they going to have Jason Kidd coach the Knicks and the Mavs? What's the plan here? It's a time for them to really nail this, because this decision has to be a great decision, because this expectation is to be Eastern Conference Finals at least, or bust. Now with Boston is one of the most intriguing teams here because they moved on from Drew Holiday. They moved on from Porzingis because of salary needs. But you still have Jaylen Brown there. You still have Derek White. And I know Tatum is not there. But you can be moderately competitive in the East, especially looking at what that conference has lost. I'm interested to see where the Celtics put their assets and where their goals are this season and what it looks like when Jaylen Brown is the #1 option on a team for an entire season.
It's so crazy because when they get rid of both Holiday and Porzingis, they save a projected $180 million in tax penalties. That's crazy. There's only one thing we know for sure, Double D, and it's this. Kidd cannot coach 2 teams at once. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. David Dennis Jr., thanks. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's 88 over here.